when you have the mindset of, hey, success takes time and it takes practice, then you won't quit when you fail at something. You'll just keep going because you're going to have that setback because success takes practice, right? And so you'll understand that, hey, this is not a failure. This is just practice. I always say this. You're going to have to change your relationship with failure. You got to change your relationship with failure. Because when you change your relationship with failure, like the relationship that you have with failure now says, oh, if I fail, then that means I need to quit. Or that means this ain't for me. This ain't my calling. This ain't my gift. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hey, I'm Larry Davis, and this is The Growth State of Mind. And today, I want to talk about how we need to take it one day at a time. Now, I know we can all relate to this. Life can get super hectic. It can be overwhelming. And it's easy to forget that we can take things one day at a time. It's easy to forget that. Some of us don't even realize that we can just take it one day at a time. And so that's what I want to talk about today, is just taking it one day at a time, about just being in the moment, not getting too far ahead of yourself. Because, man, this life is a journey, and you want to be able to take it one day at a time so you won't kill yourself, because life is a lot longer than you think it is, but it's also short too. So life is long and short, but it's just long enough and it's just short enough that you need to take it one day at a time. Hey, what's up, everybody? Look, man, when life is good, it's good, but when it's hard, it be real hard. And you just fighting battles here, there, everywhere. But sometimes the biggest battles that we fight are with ourselves. Sometimes the biggest battle is in your mind. Sometimes the biggest battle is the ones that no one sees. And it's happening right between your ears. Have you ever felt like that? I know I do. And if you have, then you're not alone. And so that's why I created a 7-day devotional called Mind Over Matter, Winning the Battle in Your Mind. Now, this devotional is a way that you can start to learn how to navigate and come against those negative thoughts and get rid of irrational beliefs and start winning the battle in your mind using God's truth as your strategy. And so, man, with this devotional gives you some practical steps that you can take to flip the script on those mental battles. And so, hey, if you want to get this devotional, it's completely free. Just go to my Instagram at @IamLADavis and send me a DM with the word devotional, and I'll send it to you. And when you sign up, you can get it, and it will come straight to your inbox every day for 7 straight days. You'll get a daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and biblical truth for 7 days. So if you want that, go to my Instagram at @IamLADavis and just DM me the word devotional, and you can get it today. And so a verse of scripture that I want to use today is Matthew 6:34. And it says, don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring its own worries. Today's trouble is enough for today. And so when you think about that verse, man, this verse, it just reminds us to live in the moment. That's what it really, that's the big idea that you get from that verse, is to live in the moment. And so we're going to talk about that today, about just living in the moment. And you know what, man? You know what? Taking life one day at a time or living in the moment, obviously, it's not just a biblical thing. It's something that we all can relate to. No matter what you're doing, no matter what you got going on, no matter who you are, we can all relate to that. And we all can relate to how things can get just kind of overwhelming. And so, man, I just want to remind you today, man, just take it one day at a time. That's just one day at a time. And when you do that, you can find some sense of balance, and you can find some sense of ease, and you can start to see things more clearly when you take it one day at a time, because your vision gets all blurred and messed up when you are trying to focus on things so far ahead, when you're trying to focus on a bunch of things all at once. Instead of just taking it one day at a time, man, you can start to see things a lot more clearer than you see them now if you take it one day at a time. You'll feel better. You'll absolutely feel better when you start taking things one day at a time. Now, let me ask you, have you ever done something, or have you ever started something, whether it was you started a project, or started some business idea or started something that you started, right? And whatever it is, you started on a job, you started a new relationship, or whatever, new marriage, move to a new place, whatever the thing there is that you are just starting. Have you ever just started on something and you just thought that you was just gonna have success immediately? I know I'm guilty of that. I know I'm guilty of thinking that, oh, everything that I do is just gonna come out right. It's just gonna start off right. I'm not gonna have no problems. It's just gonna be successful. Well, let me tell you, that can get you in a lot of trouble. Thinking that things are good or just gonna be successful when you start. That can get you in a lot of trouble. That can make you get discouraged, and ultimately, what it does is it makes you quit. When you think that something is going to be successful immediately, you can end up quitting the thing that you started, the relationship, the job, the assignment, the business, whatever it is. You can end up quitting when you think that you're just going to have immediate success. When you think that everything is just going to line up and work out perfectly on day one or the first week or sometimes the first month. And I'm here to tell you, sometimes things just don't work out that way. They just don't work out that way. I wish they do. I wish they did. Because, hey, I'm telling you, one of my flaws is I don't have patience. I admit that. I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress on it. And the people that are in my life that are closest to me, they understand that and they know that I'm a work in progress. And so hopefully they continue to work with me. But I don't have much patience. And so I definitely get this. I'm the first person to tell you, man, I want it to work out, and I want it to work out now. I want it to work out immediately. But the thing about it is, man, life just don't work out that way. A lot of things just don't work out that way. And so a lot of things, man, it takes time. It takes time to truly excel at something. Even if you do something and you complete the task, you probably didn't do it at your best. You probably didn't truly excel at it because you rushed through the process, or you just wanted this immediate success. And so you didn't give it time to really marinate and really take off. It's like seasoned meat or something. You season meat, you season it real quick and throw it in the oven or throw it in some grease. It'll be seasoned a little bit, but it's not like when you take the time and you marinate that thing slowly and let those seasonings and juices and let it just marinate in that meat over time. And so that takes time to do that. It takes time to do that. And so what you want to do is you want to be able to take your time, and you want to be able to take things one day at a time. And I'll tell you this, man, from just from experience, man, it's all about building persistence and continuous effort, right? Because persistence and continuous effort is the key to mastering a skill. And that's what you want to get at. You want to get at mastery. That's the thing that we're looking for. Like, I don't want to just do something just to do it. You know what I mean? And if I'm doing something just to do it, I'm wasting my time. Like, I don't like to waste my time doing things just to be doing it, right? If I'm going to take on a task, if I'm going to take on a job, if I'm going to take on a responsibility to do something, or if I'm going to start something for myself, I'm doing it because I want to be fulfilled by it. I want to see the fulfillment of it. I want to see a masterpiece. I want to create something that I can be proud of, right? And so for me, man, I'm trying to master it. I'm trying to get to mastery, right? But the thing about that, in order to have mastery, in order to master something, you got to be persistent and you got to have continuous effort. You can't just give up and quit when it doesn't work out the first time. You can't master anything. You can't master any skills without that. And you'll never be able to overcome a challenge if you don't have persistence, if you don't have continuous effort. Because I tell you what, whatever you do, you're going to have some challenges. Challenges are going to come. That's just the way it is. Challenges are going to come, but you will never know how to overcome those challenges if you don't practice persistence and continuous effort. So that's what it's going to take. Continuous effort, and you develop that persistence, and you just persist over time, and you master whatever it is you're doing. Because for me, it's all about mastery. I don't do stuff just to waste my time. I want to master whatever I'm doing. You know what I mean? And so that's what it's all about. Now, success. Let's think about success. We all want, like I said, you want to be successful in that thing. But I'm going to tell you one thing about success. Success, it takes time and it takes practice. Success, oftentimes, most of the time, takes time and it takes practice. Now, I know you see people have success what it seems like overnight. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes people have a quick success. Sometimes you've probably had that situation to where you were successful right away. I've had that before. So I get it. Sometimes we have that. But I tell you what, success doesn't always work like that. And I think that we are now, in this day and age, man, what is messing us up is things like social media. Social media is messing us up where you see people, all you see is success. Like, you don't see failure in social media. All you see is success, right? And so that can mess us up, because then you start to thinking that success is easy. And it's not. It's not always easy. Success takes time and it takes practice. Time and practice, right? And the thing about it, when you log on, you go on Instagram and you see somebody successful, it's one or two things. Either they, either they're only showing, they didn't show you the practice and the time that they took, right? It's like, for instance, Steph Curry. We know he's like the greatest shooter of all time, right? The greatest shooter of all time. But he practices. And see, what we don't see, they don't show the practice on TV. They show the game. They only show the game. They don't show his practice on TV. The practice is not televised, right? And so we watch him on TV and we like, man, he bad. That's a bad boy. And he is a bad boy. And he's super talented. He's super talented. But the thing about it is, with all that talent that he got, he still practices, and he practices a lot. What we don't see is him in the gym practicing and shooting 10,000 shots. We don't see him doing that. And so because of the 10,000 shots, it's not televised, it's not on social media, we don't see that. We think that, oh, he just showed up to the game and just made all those threes. It don't work like that. He spent hours and hours in the gym practicing, shooting thousands and thousands of shots. And that's the thing that you got to do. You got to spend hours practicing and mastering your skill set. Whatever it is that you do, you got to take the time and practice, because it takes practice and it takes time to master any skill. And so like I said, success takes time and it takes practice. And now that I know that changes how I approach situations, right? Where I used to approach situations, thinking that it was going to take less time and I didn't need to practice, and if I failed I got discouraged. Well, I no longer think like that. I understand that it takes time and it takes practice to achieve success, right? And so, because when you think like that, even when you start something and you struggle or you have some setbacks, you understand, man, it takes time. It takes time. I'm facing a setback, but hey, it takes time. I got time. And then when you struggle at something or when you fail, when you fail, you'll understand that, hey, this is practice. Because success takes time and practice. Success takes practice. When you have the mindset of, hey, success takes time and it takes practice, then you won't quit when you fail at something. You'll just keep going, because you're going to have that setback, because success takes practice, right? And so you'll understand that, hey, this is not a failure. This is just practice. I always say this, that in order to change the way you think, in order to start growing and developing and winning and succeeding, you're going to have to change your relationship with failure. You got to change your relationship with failure. Because when you change your relationship with failure, like the relationship that you have with failure now says, oh, if I fail, then that means I need to quit. Or that means this ain't for me. This ain't my calling. This ain't my gift. And get whatever and whatever you're doing, it might not be your calling, it may not be your gift. And yeah, you might need to recognize that. But sometimes it is your calling, sometimes it is your gift. Sometimes it is meant for you to do it. It's just that you failed or you ran into a roadblock and you thought that meant quit. You thought that failure was final, but the failure is not final. The failure is just practice, because success takes time and it takes practice. And so you need to, when you get that mindset that, hey, success takes time and practice, whenever you fail at something, you realize, hey, this is just practice and I can go again and I can just keep going and I can keep going. And then you won't get caught up in time. You won't get caught up thinking that you're behind, because again, success takes time. So you don't have to be on somebody else's timeline or the timeline that society says that you should be on, because you realize that success takes time and it takes practice. Now, did I beat that up enough? That success takes time and it takes practice. And so when you have that mindset, it will help you to stay motivated. It will help you to stay committed to whatever you're doing. Because when you know it takes time and practice, you'll stay committed. And if you don't believe that and if you believe that it's supposed to happen sooner, and if you believe that it's supposed to happen right away at the first time, then again, that's a recipe for a disaster. That is going to make you quit and it's going to make you give up. And you'll never reach your goals. You'll never accomplish the things that you want to accomplish, because you're always quitting. And you're always quitting because you have a wrong mindset of how success works. It takes time and it takes practice. And so that's what you need to understand. So again, it's all about, I'm saying all this to say this: don't be hard on yourself. Keep trying and eventually you'll get there. Don't give up, because it takes time and it takes patience. And so that's what you got to have. And so if you ever felt like giving up something because it seemed like it was just, it was too hard, or you wasn't seeing the results fast enough, you just got to remember that, hey, progress, it takes time and it takes effort, but it's worth it in the end. And it reminds me, and it takes me to the verse that I want to talk about today, Matthew 6:34, where it says, "So don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring its own worries. Today is enough trouble for today." So this verse is part of a larger section that highlights an important truth: that those who serve God with faithfulness and devotion can place their trust in Him to meet not only their spiritual needs, but also their material needs. Because in the verses leading up to that verse, it talks about how Jesus was teaching about how God will take care of you. He'll take care of all of your needs. You don't have to worry about what you'll eat or what you'll drink or clothes to wear, because if God will take care of the birds in the air and feed the birds in the air and clothe the birds, He will clothe you too. He will feed you too. And so it talks about all of that. It talks about money and all of that, about relying on God for your for your money, relying on God to take care of you. It talks about all that, and then it says, get to this verse about don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring its own worries. Today's trouble is enough for the day. And so this is just a powerful reminder that there's abundance in God's blessings if you just let Him take care of you, if you focus on Him. Now let's break this down. He said, don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow brings its own worries. Now what Jesus was telling us is, to don't worry about it, because He's got you. He's taking care of you. And He's not saying to just ignore problems or ignore things. That's not what He's saying. What He's saying is give all those worries to Him. Cast all your cares on Him, because He cares for you. And when you do that, He will take care of you. And then He says, tomorrow's trouble, tomorrow will bring its own worries. So don't worry about tomorrow, because you just need to focus on the day. You need to live in the moment. Like I said earlier, you need to live in the moment. That's what this verse is all about, living in the moment. It's about just living in the moment. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because when you live in the moment, you don't get caught up in trying to be so successful right now. You're living in the moment. You're letting today take care of it today, right? And so what he's saying is basically don't sweat the small stuff. Now, I know this is for me. I know I need to hear this. This is for me. Don't sweat the small stuff, because I know sometimes I get all worked up over nothing, and it's just not worth it. Instead, just trust God, because we got to get to a point where you know, we stop worrying about so many things that are outside of our control, and we're worried about things that's going to happen later on. Well, you got to focus on today. You got to get through the day, right? And so, it's just stop worrying. Stop worrying. Focus on the day, because Jesus has promised to take care of you. He's committed to taking care of you if you are committed to just letting him do it, right? And so sometimes we worry about stuff like when you focus on worry about tomorrow's problems, sometimes, you're worried about something that never even happens. Sometimes whatever you're worrying about never even comes to be. Sometimes whatever you're worrying about, it never manifests itself. And you end up worrying, you end up wasting all this time and all this effort and all this energy worrying about something that never happened. You end up, causing all these problems. Sometimes you end up mad at people, get into arguments with people. I know, again, I'm preaching to myself. You didn't cause all this confusion with other people worrying about something that never happened, right? And so focus on today. Focus on today, because God has grace for you in today. And if you get in trouble tomorrow, if you face whatever trouble you're facing tomorrow, just trust that he's got fresh new mercies for tomorrow. And there's another verse in Lamentations. It says that Lamentations 3:22, it says that the faithful love of the Lord never ends. His mercies never cease. Great is his faithfulness. His mercies are fresh each morning. So every morning he's got fresh new mercy. So that's why, again, you don't have to worry about tomorrow, because whatever tomorrow brings, guess what? God's got fresh new mercies for whatever is going to happen tomorrow. And so just trust in that. Just trust in that. Believe that God's got fresh new mercies for tomorrow, and you ain't got to worry about it. You can just focus on what you got to do today. And I say all that to say this, man. It's all about taking it one day at a time. Take it one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to accomplish, hey, take it one day at a time, because again, success, it takes a lot longer than you think, and it takes time and it takes practice. And so you can just focus on what you got to do today, whatever the task is today. Focus on today, because God got you today. And then you let tomorrow worry about itself, because when you wake up, there's fresh new mercies waiting on you. There are fresh problems waiting on you, but there's also fresh new mercies waiting on you as well. And so you don't have to worry about it. You can just give it to God, and he's got it. He's taking care of you. And so, man, like I said, life is too long, man, to worry all the time. And it's also short. Life is long and it's short, but it's not short enough that you don't have to take it one day at a time, and it is long enough that you do have to take it one day at a time. And so if you liked what you heard today, man, hey, share this with somebody. If you're watching it on YouTube, like it, share it with somebody who you know can benefit from hearing this, man. If you're listening to this on podcast, iTunes, Spotify, leave a review. Review it. Let me know what you think about it, and share this episode with somebody, man. Because we're all about growth over here. We're all about growth. That's why this is the growth state of mind. And so, like I always say, let's win in life. And in order to do that, you got to keep a growth state of mind.